Hello gamers from around the world. This is Boxenberger, the video game enthusiast from Germany, and I would like to welcome you to the World of Gaming, your number one podcast where we discuss everything that the world of gaming has to offer, games, news, technology, and we go through basically everything that happened over the course of the week. And I already see a lot of friends here in the chat joining us live today. Big apology to you guys that we are a little late. My wife was stuck in traffic, and I had to take care of the kids, so that's why we ran like 10 minutes late. But we are here, and of course, I want to say also a hello to everyone who listens after the fact. And of course, I would like to welcome today's guest, Pong Soul, the busiest podcaster in the business. He is the co-host of the Living Split Screen, panel member of the Xbox Factor podcast, co-host of the PM in the PM, part of the Xbox Ultimate podcast and the Shop podcast, and a dozen of other podcasts where he guests on. So thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule, my friend.
It's crazy when you name all that stuff off. It's still kind of a shock because I never planned on being here. So what a whirlwind it has been for the last year and a half now. So Boxenberger, again, honor. I told you behind the scenes, but I'll say it in public. It's an honor to be here. I don't take these invites for granted that you thought of me on your new show, just starting out, with all the great people that you've podcasted with in this community, that I'm one of the first few here, just really is special to me. And I can't say that enough because I love podcasting with you, sir. Love your thoughts on things.
Likewise,
man, it's great to be here. Chat, amazing to see all those beautiful gamers in there. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to talk about. The gaming industry is on fire right now. I just got warmed up over at Boom show because Boom had a special show, and I'm playing hooky from work today to do this. Getting some work done in between. But at the end of the day, I was home. But, Boom says, "Hey, I'm doing a special show." I jumped in, so I'm ready to rock and roll. Let's get down.
You're ready. Awesome, man. Awesome. So. Listen, everyone, if you're not familiar with Pong Soul and you like what you hear, if you like the passion he brings to each and every podcast he does, you can find all his links in the description of this show note. Just click in the description and you find his Twitter, YouTube, everything is in there. And in terms of topic, Pong mentioned it, we have a ton of stuff to discuss. We will talk about Hellblade 2. We will talk about exclusivity. We will talk about culture change at Activision. We will talk about Phil Spencer and his Starfield visions. We will talk about Nintendo Direct. If we find the time, we talk about Scalebound, a couple of game announcements, the next Assassin's Creed Valhalla, or Assassin's Creed game, Lord of the Rings in gaming, and a lot more. We have a packed show, guys. We have a packed show. But I wanted to start with something personal because today something happened. And that is very special to me because today my little YouTube channel hit 5,000 subscribers, and that is a big milestone for me.
Congratulations. Huge.
Thank you.
Well deserved. Beyond deserved. You should be well beyond 10K at this point.
I appreciate
that. 100. So,
and I wanted really to say a big thank you to everyone here in the community, not just the guys that are here live today. Of course, you are a big part, but there's a ton of other people that listen after the fact, that listen and watch the videos. And I really want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. It means so much to me to have reached this target, 5,000 subscribers. When I started this journey, I didn't think that so many people wanted to listen to what I have to say about gaming. So I'm really humbled, and I can't thank you guys enough. And when I started this particular show, I advertised this as a podcast from and with the community. And we have seen that over the last shows that the community, you guys are such a big part of this. We had our awesome brother Jay from the Netherlands last week who just donated a copy of Elden Ring that we had to give away just to make other people in the community happy. And when I approached the 5,000 subscriber mark, I also was approached by another awesome community member who's already in chat here. Crazy Louis came out and said, "Man, we need to do another giveaway to celebrate this." And I said he wanted to donate a $60 gift card for someone here today. And I said, "Hey man, we have to split the costs because I also want to give something back." And that's what I mean from and with the community. I didn't announce this giveaway on Twitter because I didn't want just the giveaway. People come in here and get the giveaway. I wanted to wanted someone to get it, who just is part of the community and who is active here. So you know the drill by now. We will have a certain hashtag that you will have to type into chat later to win either for a $60 gift card or euro gift card for Xbox or PlayStation. That's up to you. So you can buy one of these amazing games that are just coming out these days. And that's one way to say thank you. And I wanted to also thank Tracy Louis again for sponsoring it. Guys, you don't have to type into the chat hashtag TWOG. We will have a different hashtag today. We will talk about that a little bit later. But as always, I wanted to start a gaming podcast with a little talk about games. So here we go. This week's games were Dying Light came out last Friday. Ollie Ollie World came out. Sifu came out. We had a couple of Switch releases like Action Arcade Wrestling, Backbone. The Kingdom Hearts series launched on Switch. For PlayStation, Xbox came out. Edge of Eternity came out today, and Crossfire X came out today. Haven't had the chance to play that. But Pong, what have you been playing?
It's always a trick question when you ask me, Archimedes. You know I'm a grazer, so I've got 20 plus games going on at one time. So no, but actually last weekend was all Dying Light 2. I've got 25 plus hours into it already. Most of it being co-op with either Steel Rain, my brother from another, or my other one, Mav. We played the first night with Steel. So loving Dying Light 2. Bugs aside, again, it is what it is. I'm not experiencing anything major. I know some people really have some issues with the bugs, but overall, the game is fantastic. If you love the first one, especially, go try this one. It is well worth it. It's a good
Hang on, we have a bit of gameplay from that game. I just have to change the overlay and everything, so we can watch a little bit of this. I recorded this. Don't worry, there won't be any spoilers. It's early in the game, and it's mostly side quests, so there's really no story spoilers or anything in the gameplay. My parkour isn't that good at the beginning.
It gets better as you level up.
Yeah, it gets better, but that's why it looks sometimes a little bit weird. Now I'm actually a master. I'm already level 3 now, and I know how to see everything, where is the best route and how to parkour everything. So yeah, man, but please continue.
No, that's like one of the best parts about that game is the progression. You really feel like, I know a lot of people are saying that they feel it's slow, and I understand that, but at the same time, when you make progression, when you add one of those skills from the skill tree, you can tell the difference in the game, which isn't always
you
can feel it. It's not always like that with every game, but Techland did a great job with that in this.
Every skill point actually matters.
Matters massively, especially that stamina bar. If anybody wants a hint, increase your stamina. Okay, you're gonna need it. You're gonna need a lot of it.
Agreed. It also helps you to unlock these safe places. So when you are lost at night and the hordes of zombies are chasing you, you definitely want to make sure you have enough safe houses across the city. And stamina definitely helps there.
Yes, it does a lot. So yeah, Dying Light 2. I've been putting time back into Cyberpunk again.
Nice.
That kind of smoke out there that the new patch is on the way. Kind of got my juices flowing again, and I popped Cyberpunk back in and been continuing that. I'm over, 120 hours, still have not completed it. Playing around, a lot of time in photo mode, a lot of time driving around, listening to music, and just taking the sights in. I love that game to death. Again, I know people, that's a bad opinion, that's a hot take, but for me, it's the game of last gen, and I'm just enjoying myself within that world. So I've been back on that again. Otherwise, tried out Crossfire X, the multiplayer last night.
How? The multiplayer?
The campaign was not available last night. So just the multiplayer was. I have not. I've been working this morning, so I haven't hopped into the campaign yet, but the multiplayer, no. Not good. No. The beta, I think a lot of people tried the beta and we were all like, what is this? This is not good. And And again, I always have a hard time criticizing, because dev work is extremely hard work, and I don't like to put down dev. Smilegate is obviously a talented studio. Lost Ark, the MMO, just came out for PC, and it's off the charts, and that's by Smilegate, right? So I don't like, and I know this game has been very huge over in Korea, on the PC side of things. So I don't like to do this, but I don't know what they've done with this last, all this time that they've had since we had the beta last year. I really don't see it. I don't know. It's a hair, a fracture better than what I played in the beta, but that's about all I can say. So, that's it. But I have not tried the campaign by Remedy yet.
I think you're not alone with that opinion.
I've seen a lot of it.
A lot of people say something similar on Twitter today. I actually wanted to jump into the campaign, but there is a certain bug out there that even though you have Game Pass, you still have to pay for the campaign.
See, this is what got so confusing. The messaging was horrible on this, because one time we were getting the full thing in Game Pass. Everybody just thought that, right? Microsoft was publishing. We were getting the full game. Then it came out that Smilegate took over the publishing, and that Xbox was no longer publishing, and that we weren't getting the campaign. We were just getting the multiplayer. Well, then they came out and said we were getting part of the campaign in Game Pass, and that's the way I thought. But then again, like I said, last night, only the multiplayer was available. I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah, they came out today that it is apparently a bug that you can't play the first part of the campaign via Game Pass, and that the team of Xbox is working on that. But I totally agree. There was also zero advertisement, and the only buzz that game got was because Remedy's name was attached to the game. Otherwise, I don't think anyone would have talked or tried the game at all. So I'm still looking forward to try out the campaign, though. And if it's any good, I will also buy the second part, but we shall see. I first wanted to try it via Game Pass.
Yeah. I'm a Remedy fan, so I'm definitely going to try it out. I like Remedy games, so I just want to see what they did. So I'm not expecting the world out of this. It's kind of a side project that they've been on. So, but at the same time, all the trailers looked really impressive. So I want to check it out and just kind of see what it's about. So I'm going to do that for sure. Edge of Eternity, I just got downloaded this morning. I'm going to be jumping into that. That looks absolutely beautiful.
It looks.
Oh, it really does.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think I will have to put that in the backlog for now. It is just too much out there.
That's why I'm the way I am, Archimedes. I can't imagine waiting. I know, I understand why people do it, and I understand that a lot of people love to finish their games and really get focused in on those games. I just like hopping in at all these different worlds and getting an experience. And so this is what I do. This is what I do best. It's still overwhelming for me at this point because I have so much I want to do, right? So it's crazy out there.
See, I usually am a guy who likes to finish his games. I don't want to play, and that's why I typically don't play more than 2, maximum 3 games at the same time. But 2 story-driven games, that's maximum for me, and then I finish them one after the other. And for me, that's right now. Scarlet Nexus, I started that about 2 weeks ago.
So good.
It's a great game. The gameplay is awesome. I'm still having my issues with these little anime dialogue sequences.
Correct. Yep.
They are just too long. I'm just skipping them, but still fun game. But I had to take a break here because I'm so hooked on Dying Light. That game is absolutely fantastic. I know there is a lot of controversy around the graphics modes that are available on console. The console basically offers you a performance mode that runs at 1080p, and I've also put that out on Twitter. I don't see why, because the game looks good, but it looks like a good last-gen game. I don't see any proper next-gen stuff in there. I like
it's unacceptable.
And especially if you play on a big 4K screen, it can get blurry at times.
Yes,
that is true. It's still a lot of fun, though. I really having fun exploring the world. The adrenaline is really there when you are out there at night. I like the parkour system that's really a lot of fun. I also enjoy the story. No
I was just gonna ask you, Boxenberg, because a lot of reviewers downed the story and a lot of the bad scores because they thought the characters weren't good. Me and Steel, I'm like, what were people talking
the same
about?
Game? What are you, man? I just had there's about a third probably into the game. Where you leave the first main region of the open world and get to the second region, and you have to make a decision right there. And man, that hit me really hard. I was remembered to Fallout 3. You remember when you had to make the decision whether to blow up the city or not? It kind of reminded me of that, and man, that game hits me. I like the story. I like the twists they had so far, and
your decisions do matter. Let me tell you,
indeed.
I was watching Mav stream the other day, and he made different decisions than I did in my world, and the story was completely different from a complete new perspective. So
I can imagine, and even in side missions, you make sometimes a little decision. There was a bigger building, and it was a side mission, so it's really not a big spoiler, but you were given a choice whether to help certain people in that building or not, and I decided not to. And later I came back, and I've seen all those people became zombies in that world. And if I wouldn't have done that, I would have had a way easier job in the main story, because you had to go to that building for one of the main stories. It's awesome, really, how even the side quests matter. So yeah, right there with you. I'm really enjoying the game. And yeah, Crossfire X again. I wanted to start that, but no chance so far. Gonna play that over the weekend then.
Right.
Okay, Pong. Let me just catch up on one of the super chats that came in from Wandering Dutch. He just said, because he's an awesome channel member for 4 months now, 5K baby. Yeah, man. Again, such an awesome thing. Really made my day. And we have Kilanat, pardon me if I butcher your name, Kilanatis, with a $2 super chat. He says, that Nintendo Direct was awesome. Yes, it was definitely one of the better ones, and we are going to discuss that very soon. I just wanted to remind everyone, we are doing a giveaway here today in order to celebrate the 5,000 subs and this awesome community. We're doing a $60 gift card for either Xbox or PlayStation. That's up to you. And all you have to type into the chat is hashtag 5K subs. All small, no capital letters. Yeah. So I'm going to type that in chat right now, that you see it again. And all you have to do is type in that hashtag 5K sub. Pardon me, I forgot the S. Hashtag 5K subs. And with that, you will automatically be entered into the giveaway. We do that. We draw the winner at the end. Again, no capital letters, hashtag 5K subs, and that automatically enters you. Yeah, I see you guys do it all right. No capital letters, perfect, man. I'm gonna put a reminder out a couple of times during the show. Yeah. And before we move into the news, I actually wanted to read another super chat from the crazy one, who actually is the one who also pays half of this giveaway and had the idea to just make someone in the community happy, because he is an awesome guy. And he says, Boxenberger 5K. Yes, thank you, man. Thank you so much for your generosity and especially for making a gamer here today very happy. Okay, but with that, Pong, I want to move into the news of the week. All right. A lot of stuff happened. A lot of stuff happened. Yeah. I know people are not familiar with these kind of jingles. The last week I had some funny reactions in the back room when I played them. So I warned you up front that they are coming. So okay, man.
I love them. Keep them going.
Awesome, man. So A lot of stuff happened. I want to start with the big discussion point about exclusivity. What do I mean? We've yesterday, Microsoft published a blog post, and I want to give a little bit of context here first before we discuss this, because I have seen a lot of discussions that kind of missed a few but very important points. That was not an Xbox statement. That was a Microsoft blog post. It was published from a Microsoft president, and the intention of this blog was actually an update of the store. It is not a statement from the Xbox department. It is a statement from Microsoft on their digital stores, how they want to change the policies and so on. It's basically what they need to do because of the outcome of the trial that we had last year, where Epic fought Apple, and this is basically one of the outcomes of that trial. So I don't want to go into the details of that of the store changes, but in that blog post they also put in a statement that was more or less addressed to people from the regulatories, not just in the US, also in the European Union. And I want to quote that so that we all have the same understanding what was said. So, from the official blog post, to be clear, Microsoft will continue to make Call of Duty and other popular Activision Blizzard titles available on PlayStation through the term of any existing agreement with Activision. And we have committed to Sony that we will also make them available on PlayStation beyond the existing agreement and into the future, so that Sony fans can continue to enjoy the games they love. We are also interested in taking similar steps to support Nintendo's successful platform. We believe this is the right thing for the industry, for gamers, and for our business. Pong. There's a lot to it, but basically they confirmed, okay, Call of Duty will remain multi-plat. Other IPs from Activision Blizzard might also stay multi-plat, and some of them might even come to Nintendo systems where they are usually not that often. The only games I can remember is Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, and Diablo. Maybe I'm missing one or so, but those were the only games that I can think of that were published on the Sony platform. So, what do you think? Is this a good thing that they stay multi-plat? Does it bother you? What is your take on this?
Boxenberger, this is a whole discussion, brother. This is big. This is not something that I was not surprised about. I went on a lot of shows right after the deal was announced. Now, I am on record as stating that I thought the most likely scenario was that Call of Duty would go eventually outside of Warzone, would go exclusive, right? So
I was on the same page. Basically, the Bethesda approach,
the Bethesda approach, correct.
With existing IPs stay, and these online games like Elder Scrolls Online from Bethesda, or in this case Warzone, will remain multi-plat, but everything else is going to become exclusive. That was my understanding as well. Yeah, agreed.
That was my, like I said, I said the most likely outcome. However, I did say on multiple shows that I thought that we should be prepared for the idea that Call of Duty is considered like a Minecraft, and that legacy continues on forward. And I said that the reason behind that would be that would be something they would be doing because they understand the regulations are changing. This is not the old regulators. Okay. This is the political landscape has changed across the world. I'm not just talking about the US. I'm talking about the EU, which has become even more stringent when it comes to these types of deals, right?
I agreed. Just to jump in real quick here, people often don't see that, but the European Union has become very careful with these big tech companies from the US. So I don't think that their biggest concern right now is the US government, to be honest.
A lot of the talk, though, a lot of grandstanding and a lot of talk about it really going the EU way. So, they're just preparing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So please continue.
Yeah, no problem. They're preparing for the future. Okay. Now, Microsoft back in the day, their troubles, their fights with regulators is well known. They used to be the big bullies. That's why, Windows Office is where it's at today, because they used bully tactics back in the day. They have to take a different stance. This is much bigger than Call of Duty. We're focused solely on Call of Duty. A lot of people are just solely focused on Call of Duty because it's one of the biggest IPs in the entire world. Okay. And I understand that. It's important. But this goes to a much larger topic, a much larger philosophy change within Microsoft and Xbox and the gaming industry as a whole. People somehow forget that just last week, Sony paid $3.6 billion to keep Destiny multi-plat. Okay.
Yeah.
There's something big going on here. Okay. There's a change within this industry, and Xbox is the leaders in this. They need to position themselves within the grand scheme of things as a good guy right now, as a good company. They don't want to be on the other side with the Apples, with the Googles that are getting Facebooks, Meta, that are getting extremely hard looks from the regulators, right?
Yeah.
They don't want to be on that side of the table going forward. They're going to position themselves in the best place possible. And what this tells me also, Boxenbergers, they're not done. This signals that there are going to be more big acquisitions. So they want to be at the head of the table with the regulators, dictating as much as they can, kind of controlling the narrative and dictating what rules are laid down going forward. And they want to be seen as, hey, Microsoft was right there with us saying, no, this is the way the industry needs to go. There's not going to be an end of exclusives. I see a lot of people on Twitter up in their feelings talking about, well, why should I own an Xbox? Look, that choice is still yours. But just because a Call of Duty, just because a World of Warcraft, just because of Diablo, just because of Overwatch goes multi-plat because of this deal, does not mean exclusives are ending. By no means. They're going to have exclusives come out of the Activision Blizzard deal. But what it does is it sets them up for this future. And again, I have my own theories here. Number one theory is that Xbox, Sony, and Nintendo, even though Nintendo is more in their own real world over there, that they don't have to worry so much what goes on in the rest of the industry. However, I believe that all three we're going to see more cooperation out of them because of the existential threats from Amazon, from Google, from Tencent, from whoever decides to jump in here. We heard Phil talk about the fact that he trusts Sony and Nintendo not to screw up this industry, that they are partners in this industry. They want to see this gaming industry community continue to grow and be healthy. And there is a fear that if all these other people start jumping in here, and we know that they want to in different ways, that they could really mess up the whole thing. And they could really bring some negative to the industry that could cause some real damage. So I think we're going to see some more cooperation. Yeah. And then my other big theory here is that Microsoft is positioned, Microsoft, the corporation. Now remember, Phil is CEO of Microsoft Gaming. Okay. It's no longer just about Xbox anymore. They are positioning themselves. Yeah. They are positioning themselves for this future. We heard Satya. Satya is telling it to our face. When he talks about the metaverse, he's not talking about, virtual reality. He's not talking about all this stuff. What he's talking about is that your entertainment content. Right now, it's really fractured. We have to go to HBO Max for certain things. We have to go to Amazon Prime for certain things. And you're always logging into different ecosystems, right?
Yeah.
When Satya, and this is what I believe, okay? Again, who knows? This is Microsoft 2.5. I'm not leading no $2.5 trillion company, okay? So I don't know anything. I can only read the tea leaves from the outside looking in and just using some common sense. When Satya is talking about the metaverse, he's talking about this one place, one hub, one world where all your entertainment content is in there. You still have separate ecosystems, right? But you don't have to go to different gateways to get into that specific ecosystem. It's all underneath one roof. And guess who wants to be there though? Guess who wants to be the gatekeeper to that one world? Xbox, Microsoft. Microsoft specifically wants to be that one gatekeeper. So because with their Azure servers, which is their main business right now outside of Windows and obviously Office, Azure is what they're pushing most. Xbox is right there as well, but that's all a piece of this puzzle. The Azure servers will host that world, and they have to be the good guy. They can't be nefarious here. They can't be looked upon as the bullies that are trying to force everybody into this. Are they still going to drag people with them as long as they can? Absolutely. Like you talked about, Archimedes, this goes back to the whole App Store thing with Apple and Epic.
Yep.
Microsoft wants to open up those app stores. They themselves are saying, hey, we want to be open. We want an open platform. They want everybody else to. So all of their content can be available within their own storefronts there as well and not locked out. That's all part of the major plan here. Again, I understand the focus is Call of Duty. Right, I understand that, and I know
it's a short-term focus.
It's a short-term.
The stuff you are talking about is like 5-10 years
15,
out,
20 years out, right? Yes.
And I want to add one thing there, Pong. Yeah. It's not just the metaverse. I think one thing will happen really sooner. And if you look at, for instance, the music business or Netflix or movie, TV entertainment stuff, these apps are available everywhere. Yeah, I have one device, my phone, and I can log into every music subscription I have. I can log into Netflix, Disney Plus, and Amazon Prime, all from the same device. It doesn't matter as long as to them from which device I'm logging in, as long as I'm logging into their service. And I feel this is where we are going to head in the future. And Sony also talked about wanting to become a multi-plat here. Yeah, so. Yep. For those guys, it is log into our ecosystem. Doesn't matter from which device.
Correct. And that's the big thing. Exclusivity started changing when Microsoft decided to go day and date on PC, right? And we had to go through that whole transition, and everybody was in uproar. And oh my God, there's no point in owning an Xbox. Guess what? Xbox has continued on. Xbox has grown. Xbox is continuing to grow. Without having true console-only exclusives, because we're no longer talking about the consoles. This is decades-old thinking that we're all locked into. We have to move beyond that because the industry is evolving as the tech world evolves. Go ahead, Box.
Yeah, I sometimes want to defend a little bit those people who are afraid of that, because one thing that the console gaming space is known for is convenience. You don't have to worry about stuff working. Yeah, it is a protected ecosystem. You just plug that thing into your TV, turn it on, and you can play your games. And I get that people are afraid with the ecosystem approach that it's now also a PC game on your phone and a cloud streaming game, whatever. It's all that as well, that your protected, convenient console ecosystem is going to change. And I think this is one big aspect that why so many are afraid. But on the other hand, they have not changed anything on the console side of things. Your console experience is still the same. It's simply available on other systems. So, but I think this is sometimes hard to transport, especially into the more casual gaming market. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And again, it's going to take time. This isn't something that's going to happen tomorrow, right? It's been sped up, I believe, due to the pandemic. And I believe that's why we're seeing all of this consolidation happening. That's why we're seeing these big, gigantic deals go through. That's why we see Sony really turning their ship fairly quickly compared to most Sony decisions. And I think that's why all of this is happening. But at the same time, we're not talking about tomorrow. Phil's talked about the console. They're already working on the next console. The console experience is not going away. Exclusives are not disappearing tomorrow. This is not going to be one big happy world all of a sudden, just because these moves are being made now. This is all about the future. That's why when this deal was announced, Phil instantly said, this is not short term. This is the long-term play. And like I said, this signals to me that anybody who thought that maybe after this Activision Blizzard deal was done, that they might cool off and not need really to acquire any more studios or publishers, I should say, that there might be some small studios, IO, those kind of things out there. But at the end of the day, this signals to me, no. And like I said, this all goes, for me personally, my opinion and my theories is that this goes back to Phil wanting to protect this industry and protect some of the big IPs that are out there from these other entities jumping in. And all of a sudden we have issues like we saw Google bought up a bunch of studios. All of a sudden, a year later, they decide too bad, shut down, we're out, and all those people lost their jobs.
Exactly.
That's not what Phil's about. That's not what Microsoft.
And last week, Phil actually literally said exactly that in an interview. I think it was with Bloomberg or someone. Would have to check up on last week's show notes. We had it there. He literally said he isn't afraid of Nintendo or Sony making any moves that will hurt the gaming industry long term. He's really not afraid of that. He's not so sure about Tencent, Google, Amazon. Right. And he literally just said exactly that. And you're absolutely right. Imagine, I don't know, Tencent or Amazon buying up Ubisoft. And 2 years later, they shut everything down and all these IPs and games we love are gone. 100%. I want to bring in a different perspective that I thought about. I'm always an advocate of in days where we have a Game Pass, do exclusives really matter to us? I always try to look at things like what do I as a gamer have a benefit from, and I don't have a benefit if someone on PlayStation can play Call of Duty or not. It really does not affect my experience I'm having in the Xbox ecosystem. I do have a benefit from a day one Game Pass release. That is making an actual change for me. That's where I personally have a benefit. I don't have to buy the game anymore. So I'm definitely in that kind of mindset. And so when we talk about now Call of Duty becoming multi-plat or remaining multi-plat, and even probably other IPs, I don't know, Diablo, Overwatch. I could see Overwatch be one multi-plat. I could see Diablo. Maybe that is a good push for Game Pass and your own ecosystem. I don't know, but these ongoing games like Diablo is also an ongoing game. Well, I don't know. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, Overwatch is also going to be a multi-plat. I want to put this up for the discussion, and also for chat. I have put up a poll in chat where you can vote. Is it a good thing that Call of Duty remains a multi-plat game? I'd love to hear your thoughts, so definitely make sure to vote in the chat.
And let me throw this out there real quick, Boxenberg, too. If you are going to focus on Call of Duty, okay, if that's your main thought about this, I want everybody, and again, everybody who says that, hey, we need to wait, that this is a lot of legal speak, you're absolutely 100% correct. Microsoft can't come out and say anything because the deal's not done. They can't say specifics. They can't talk about future stuff. So they have to be very careful. I agree 100%. What we do on podcasts a lot of the time is speculate and just kind of look and give our opinions on what's happening. Remember that. I'm not stating what I'm stating as facts. But if you want to look at Call of Duty specifically, and let me ask you this question. Just when the Activision Blizzard deal, what side were you on? Do you think that Microsoft is going to continue to pump out Call of Duty yearly? Or are they going to go to a 2 to 3 year cycle like a lot of us want them to do? Yeah. And if you think what Phil was talking about, where he said he's going to sit down with studios and ask them what they want to work on, if you believe him in that means they're going to pull some of these studios off of Call of Duty. That signals to me, again, just my opinion, that he's already planning on making Call of Duty a 2 to 3 year cycle type of game. At that point, Call of Duty, the main campaign, is no longer as valuable, right? And Microsoft can do that because they don't need that money yearly like Activision did. So therefore, all of a sudden, that property, that IP that we all think of, oh God, yearly, it'd be so much better if it was just a yearly release exclusive to Xbox. It would drive numbers. What happens if they're going to a 2 to 3 year release? That importance is no longer there. Yes, it's still a big IP. Warzone is going to be the driver going forward, but that yearly Call of Duty release is no longer a part of that conversation at that point. Fact. So therefore, it going multi-plat, not that big a deal anymore, right? If you're on that side, if you think it was going to drive Game Pass.
My thoughts on that part is I think Microsoft will evolve Call of Duty into an ongoing live service game as a whole. They have been very good at doing these kind of things. They did that with Sea of Thieves. They did that with Grounded. They just released a statement that they have 10 million players on Grounded. Yeah, they did that. Or they want to do that with Forza. They want to do that with Motorsport,
Halo.
Thank you. 10-year plan.
Right.
So it kind of would make sense for them to just do that and have these have Call of Duty as an ongoing game, and then give the developers a 2, 3, 4-year cycle to do a proper campaign, but still have that multiplayer part to be updated on a yearly or even on a 6-month basis, with smaller parts. So that's what I'm thinking that they are doing. What I actually wanted to ask you is the following. I've been thinking about this a lot, and I've seen a lot of statements out there. Phil is playing the nice guy again. Yeah,
Kumbaya Phil. Yes,
Kumbaya Phil. I love
that. That was the old nickname that was given to him when when the clown show, the PlayStation fanboys were trying to slander him. They gave him that nickname, Kumbaya Phil. So yeah,
and there is something to this that I have to say. I'm not against it being multiplayer. Please don't get me wrong. Like I said, I really actually don't care, because as long as I personally get the games day one in Game Pass, I have a benefit, and I don't have a benefit from not being played on other platforms. It doesn't affect my experience. However, it does hold one thing. It is the question about competition, especially, of course, towards Sony. It's no secret that I am not a big fan of the price hike that Sony did at the beginning of this generation. My statement, and I quote now one of my videos. I said, and I stand by that statement, it feels weird to me that one company made gaming cheaper than ever before, while the other one made gaming more expensive than ever before. So with Phil being the nice guy again, and leaving Call of Duty and other IPs on PlayStation, they remove a bit of that pressure on Sony to deliver probably, let's say, more value on their side, in their ecosystem. What are your thoughts on this? Is this true? Does it actually hinder or what's the proper English phrasing? Reduce the competition? Yeah.
Sure. I get what you're saying, Boxenberger. Look, you can look at it from a lot of different ways. If you have, again, I preface all this because we don't know what the long-term plans are. Microsoft could be ready to stick the knife in everybody's back right now. We don't know it, right? So we don't know, but I'm just going by what's front-facing and what we have in the public space and what we've seen through the years. There's different ways to lead forward, and if the big picture is a much more accessible, open gaming industry, entertainment industry as a whole, versus what we have now in a very fractured, you have to have 15 subscriptions in order to get everything. If we are looking down that path, then Microsoft is leading. And Microsoft, again, is going to be the ones that are going to have to make the tough decisions and pull everybody with them. And I think they're doing that with Sony right now in their own way. Is it the old style? No, I am on record as saying when this happened that if I was Phil, I'd be cutthroat and you ain't touching Call of Duty until you're coming into Game Pass. Okay. Yeah. I said that. Okay. That's me. That's my highly competitive nature. And what Sony's done with all of their money hatting, time exclusives, all that, because I understand those feelings because I've looked across the way and said, yeah, that's what Sony does. Again, I was a PlayStation owner first last gen before I jumped back into Xbox. So I've been over on that side. So I understand what that means, right? But at the end of the day, if Microsoft and Xbox are looking to change the industry overall, they are creating competition by being the good guys, because already we have seen the articles from mainstream start to change. We have seen the masses starting to feel the ripple effects of a Game Pass, of something that is valuable to us as consumers and as gamers, start to move outward and hit more and more people, which has caused Sony to bring forth what they're calling Spartacus. Now, we don't know what Spartacus is. We're not going to know. Is it going to be its full form day one? No, I don't think so. I think it's going to be an evolving service as Sony kind of moves towards this. But we've seen Sony now putting their games on PC. Why?
Yes.
Because Xbox, Microsoft made the first move and started to do that, and they see the
successful.
money. Yeah. And we see Jim Ryan
and Phil
coming out.
said he expects Sony to copy the Game Pass model.
He does day and date, and maybe Phil knows because he's been talking to Jim. Again, these companies talk. They're not. This is not a war where nobody's talking to each other. Okay, I guarantee you that Phil, Jim, and Bowser are all on Zoom calls on a regular basis, talking about the industry as a whole. We've heard Jim Ryan come out, his quotes from his latest interview where he said, "We have to move beyond the console." You could take those quotes and put them back in 2018 and people would think that Phil was saying that, right? That's the exact same words that Phil was using. All of that stuff signals to me that Microsoft and Xbox are creating competition in a different way. This is no longer about necessarily always the exclusives. Again, exclusives aren't going away. There are going to be certain games that are only available in each other's ecosystems, in one or the other. Okay, that's not going to change. But at the end of the day, where the industry is moving, it's a bigger shift away from that old mindset. And Xbox is pulling people like Sony with them, whether they like it or not, because Sony understands that mind share eventually, that mind share switches over, and everybody looks at Sony more and more and says, why aren't you doing what Xbox is doing? Before it always was like, well, why isn't Xbox buying up exclusive? Why isn't Xbox paying for timed exclusivity? Why isn't Xbox doing this? Why aren't they making third-person over-the-shoulder action adventure narrative-driven games, right? Why aren't they? Now it's slowly shifting, and we see people asking, well, why isn't Sony doing this? Why is Sony charging $70? Yes, the hardcore will always defend their favorite platforms' moves, but they're a minority. They are not the majority. The majority of people look when they go shopping, when a parent goes shopping for the kids, they're looking at value. They're looking at prices. And that's what they see on Xbox's side now. And so I think that's where the competition comes in.
Yeah, I agree. Very, very good points. Listen, the chat apparently agrees with basically both of us. We had a poll out there, and 66% said it's a good thing that the games remain 67 actually remain multi-plat. Only 11% said no, it's not a good thing, and 22% said I'm torn. Yeah. I'm somewhere in between torn and yes, because I am also a competitive guy, and I want the best for us gamers. And of course, the easy way to look at this, it's a good thing for gamers that we can play the games everywhere. That is a good thing, and there's no argument against that. On the other side, I hope that it does not hinder the competition. Because I think Sony can, or needs a little bit of pressure competition right now. So, we shall see. Listen.
Well, and Boxenberger, just real quick too, just on top of that, look what we just also on top of Sony's side, look what they just came out and announced: 10 games as a service. Within the next 4 years, right?
4 years.
They just went out and bought Bungie and let Bungie dictate what was going to happen in that deal. And they're staying multi-plat. They are staying on their own. They're going to be completely autonomous. They're going to be underneath Sony, but they're going to be autonomous. They're going to make their own publishing decisions. Yeah. That shows you the competition.
I said that, I think last week it was when we discussed the Bungie acquisition. The main reason they bought them is the technology. Sony really doesn't have a proprietary engine with a proper netcode, and Bungie does have a very robust one. They have the infrastructure to support ongoing live service games. They have been doing that for years now, and I think that is what this deal was mainly about, especially, and it was no coincidence that they announced 10 ongoing live service games in 4 years, along with the acquisition. So, yeah. Definitely, man. Let me catch up on one of the super chats coming from Mr. Joanna Dark. Shout out to you, dude. Thanks for being here and the generosity. Hello, gentlemen. Our games as a service is just too big to ignore from a financial standpoint. These types of games benefit from being multi-plat versus exclusive. Couldn't have said it better. Ongoing live service games, they need a big player base. They need full lobbies. They need all of that to be fun, and it definitely makes sense for those type of games to simply stay multiplat.
Correct. And Xbox gets all the money at the end of the day. Microsoft gets all the money at the end of the day, which is good for if you're on a side, it's good for our side, right? The Xbox side. Since I play on Xbox primarily right now, it's good for our side. More money, more games, more content, more acquisitions. That's how this is going to work.
Agreed. When you just said you mainly play on Xbox, do you own a Switch?
No, I do not yet.
You do not. So you have probably not followed the Nintendo Direct too much?
I did.
Or did you take a look at it?
I did. But look, okay, here's the deal, Boxenberger. If you haven't heard me talk about Nintendo, I respect Nintendo. I left Nintendo back during the Sega days. Okay. I haven't owned my kids have owned Game Boys and that kind of stuff in between. And so I fooled around. I've dabbled, but I stopped playing Nintendo. They just don't appeal to me. They have certain games that do appeal to me, but not enough to get me to go out buy into their ecosystem. Okay. That's just me. I'm a budget gamer. I can't go buy everything. Otherwise I would own everything. But I have been paying attention to Nintendo. I always pay attention to Nintendo because they're a part of this gaming industry, and I love them for what they did history-wise for us, right? So for me, I still watch them, and I'm still waiting for the day that they jump back into current gen and come back to where I want them to be. However, yesterday, Nintendo's Direct was the first time I've tweeted at Nintendo. I tweeted at them
and I said, tweet? I didn't see that.
I tweeted and I said, I see you, Nintendo, because they talked about, and I quote tweeted their announcement of Front Mission, the remake of Front Mission 1 and the announcement of Front Mission 2 coming later. Those types of games, those are the ones that I've been waiting for. To see them starting to go back into their classics and bringing some of them unexpectedly. I never thought Front Mission was coming back. Never in a million years. So those kind of niche titles from Nintendo are the ones that are going to get me back. On top of, I love Fire Emblem. I did play Fire Emblem on Game Boy when my kids had a Game Boy Advance. Love the Fire Emblem series. I've been wanting to jump back into that. And like Xeno Chronicles, right? They just announced number 3. I'd love to jump into those. I'm not excited about the quality if I want to play it on my big screen. That's my main issue. But yes, so
I think a lot of people have that issue with the Switch, me included. I have every console and a PC, so I can really. I'm fortunate enough to be able to choose wherever I play, and that's why I use my Switch usually only in handheld mode. The Switch was actually one of my most played systems for a while prior to the pandemic because I had to travel a lot, and it was the perfect system for me as a portable console. However, now that I have the choice and I'm mainly at home and I work from home and I play from home, a game from home, I have the choice. And
right.
And of course, I don't play the multi-platform games on the Switch. Obviously, there's just a better experience on other systems to be had. So, still, I'm a Nintendo fan, and I'm part of the Nintendo problem because I always say I wish Nintendo would do a little bit more for not just for these for the casual market, but for the hardcore gamers. Take some of their franchises a little bit more serious. If you do all these remakes, I always say bring back the good ones. Why did they last year? Why did they remaster Skyward Sword when you have like games like Twilight Princess that you can bring back? It's beyond my understanding, but Nintendo is how it is. And I want to briefly go over the Nintendo Direct, but I have to thank a couple of super chats that came in. The first one came in from Dave Ramos, who's also an awesome channel member. Thank you so much for the support. He says, Acti games coming to Game Pass day one is such a bonus, and secondly, none of these games can be taken away from Xbox by a competitor. True that. That's where the real value comes in. We get these games day one via Game Pass, and they will stay there. So definitely. Let me change the gameplay real quick. Again.
Already, which is not.
So there we go. And I have to remove that. So, okay, I'm back. I don't know how these professional podcasters do all these things in parallel, like changing the gameplay, overlays, answering the chat, reading the super chats. It's I need to practice that a little bit more. Let me read another super chat coming from Ham Solo Gaming. Thank you so much for the generosity. He says, "Keep doing your thing, dog." Thank you, man. I try to, and maybe I take that as an opportunity to remind everyone that we have a special giveaway here today. We are giving away a $60 gift card either for Xbox or PlayStation. So basically, you can buy your next favorite game. Highly recommend Dying Light 2 if you haven't checked that out. But it's up to you. Of course, all you have to do to enter the giveaway is to type into the chat hashtag 5K subs. No capital letters. Yeah. Hashtag 5K subs. And you're automatically entered into the giveaway as a thank you for the outstanding support you all have shown me over the years now. I'm doing the YouTube thing now for 2 years, and today I hit 5,000 subs, and I can't thank you enough. And I also want to thank again Louis, Crazy Louis, who's also in chat. He came out and said, "Man, I want to donate that $60 gift card." I said we have to split the cost for that, but man, Crazy Louis, you are such an awesome community member. Thank you. Shout out to you. And guys, you are doing it absolutely right. Hashtag 5K subs in chat, and you automatically entered. It doesn't help you if you type it in multiple times. Yeah. So the tool I'm using is only counting you once per account. So, all right. Okay. I should have said that. Now we're getting all the multiple accounts coming in. But man, again, I like I said in the beginning, I didn't want to announce the giveaway big on you on Twitter or so. Because I want the people that come in here regularly to listen and interact with us in the chat and with the community. I wanted someone from you guys to win it, and not the people that just come in for the giveaway. So that's why we didn't make a big deal out of this. But I hope you are going to get a good game, and we shall see at the end of the show who wins it. We were talking about Nintendo Direct. So what was announced? No Man's Sky coming to Switch. I didn't see that coming. Good on them. Nintendo Sports coming in April. I know Mr. Boomstick is excited about that.
Yes.
Yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 coming in September. That's really close. I would have not expected that this year. Portal coming to Switch. Star Wars The Force Unleashed, the Wii port is coming. Splatoon 3 coming this summer. Couple of other announcements. My biggest excitement was actually Mario Kart 8 related. They are getting 48 new tracks.
Can we call Mario Kart? Wait. Can we call Mario Kart 8 a games as a service now at this point?
We should probably. Good point. Very good point.
Right?
Yeah, man. 48 old tracks actually from all the previous Mario Karts coming. And I was trying to figure out today, what do I have to pay for 48 tracks? Is it $25 like they said? Is that giving me all the 48 tracks? Or because they said they will release that in 4 different waves. They already announced the first wave coming. Is it $25 per wave? If someone in chat knows that, please let us know. Definitely something I'm looking forward to, because like you said, kids love Nintendo games, and I'm playing Mario Kart actually with my sons right now. Awesome. So having more tracks on that, looking forward to that. Definitely. Okay, man, I want to change the topic.
I was just going to say real quick too. Hold on, just real quick on Nintendo Direct. With those announcements too, it confirmed the NVIDIA leaks that came out.
Yeah.
So some people were saying, can we take these seriously? Look, they've been spot on now with Nintendo, which means now this is the big one for me, Boxenberger. This is the big one, brother. And Mav, if he's still in the chat, Final Fantasy Tactics remake is coming. That's my jam. Final Fantasy Tactics is one of the best, if not the best strategy game of all time. if they announce that coming in the next couple of years, I will be back on a Nintendo Switch for sure. So that Nvidia leak, if it's real and it's looking like it is, hey, that's what I got my eyes on right there.
It's a great point. Great point. Yeah, I've seen someone on Twitter talk about that earlier today. It is really true. It's the first time we are getting the some sort of confirmation that at least some parts of that leak are true. And there were a couple of other things I was excited in the Nvidia leak. So yeah,
exactly.
let's hope. Let's hope,
yeah,
man.
Let's hope.
All right. I want to change the topic. Have you heard of a little game called Hellblade or Hellblade 2?
No. What's that?
No one has heard about that one.
Is that on Luna?
I don't know. I have to Google, man. I have to Google. I heard some other podcasters say that he really didn't understand why someone would buy that developer. It doesn't make sense at all.
Call Moriarty, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to call.
He's big enough. He's big enough. You can name him. Everybody
deal with it. Listen. The game director, Tamim Antoniadis, if you don't know him, he's the one who's always speaking about Hellblade in these dev diaries that they have been putting out. He has a very, very awesome way to explain stuff. He's a very calm dude. I really love when he talks. And he had an interview, a big interview on his career. And during that interview, I highly recommend to read that. It's from nme.com. I wasn't aware about that site. First time I'm hearing about it, but they had a big interview with him. He said a couple of things about Hellblade 2 and what their targets are. Let me quote from the interview. The goal with Hellblade 2 isn't to perfect it, but to create an experience that feels more believable and more refined. Its ambition in terms of scale is bigger than Hellblade 1. I think Hellblade 2 will make Hellblade 1 look like an indie game. Man, before we move to a couple of other quotes from that interview, what do you make of this when you hear something like that, if that's the ambition?
There's a couple, I've seen people have a problem with that quote, right? Because of the indie thing. And after I thought about it, I kind of sat back and said, maybe that wasn't the best way to put it. Because some people took it as a slight towards indie titles. Honestly, that just from what I've heard of that studio and from him previous, I don't think that was his intent at all.
No,
I think it was a little lost in translation a little bit, maybe, or whatever the case may be. It's just his way of talking about his own game, that he's saying that Hellblade 1, when compared to Hellblade 2 and what they're creating there, Hellblade 1's going to feel like an indie title, meaning small scale, that really personalized. Like the Hellblade 1 was so focused on Senua and her journey and her experience and dealing with her psychosis.
But let me put on a quote exactly about these topics from that interview. Hellblade 2 moves away from this being a personal affliction for Senua and more about how a person like that can change the world.
There you go.
From the interview.
Exactly. Okay, so there we go. So I'm a genius. I knew exactly what he was talking about. No, look.
That's why you're on the show. That's why you're on the show, man.
No. So no, that's perfect. Thank you for bringing that up, Oxenberger. So yes, that was my idea when I sat back and thought about it. Right, I was like, okay, I understand what he's trying to get at here, because as we've heard and now kind of seen, she's a part of something bigger going on. Now, how big that is, we don't have any idea. But from his quotes, that's what I'm hearing, that we can expect a much, much larger experience, shaping kind of the world around her in Hellblade 2. And to me, that's what gets my blood flowing, right? I loved Hellblade 1. I still have to yet to finish it. Again, I'm a grazer. Nobody crucify me. Gatekeep me all you want. I don't finish a lot of games, but I am going to finish Hellblade. Trust me.
You have to. I'm
about
I mean,
75% through. So
yeah, it's only like an 10 hour experience.
Yeah,
so
I know. My problem though,
with that Series X patch, man.
My problem, awesome. and I've gone back into it. My problem, Boxerburger, is I have to take a lot of breaks with that game because I do wear headsets for that game, and the voices honestly do get to me. I really do. like after I sit there for about 35, probably 30 minutes
And
to
you're
an hour.
still hearing the voices.
I get really weirded out. So I wind up taking a lot of breaks with that game, but I am going to finish it. But yeah, no, I think that this is exciting. Not only just for us gamers, that we're going to get something bigger on a much grander scale, because I think Senua, and obviously her journey is worthy of a much grander scale, but also for the studio, that they have been able to take this leap now that they are underneath Xbox. Xbox built them this brand new.
Let me put out another quote from that interview, exactly on that topic. Man, you're on fire today. Okay, so listen. We are part of a big organization now, so I think we are almost obliged to take chances that no one else has the privilege of taking. The technology and lessons of games are really valuable and rich and important. It's so far advanced from the expectations of people outside of games.
Yep, exactly. Perfect. Again, that's awesome. So, and I know you and I, Boxenberger, agree on this point specifically, that Ninja Theory, this next step for them, puts them, I believe, and I think you believe, and again, we don't know, finished product isn't here, we won't know till it drops, but just from what we've seen, what we've heard, and what we know of Ninja Theory, that they are going to put themselves on the map. They already are on that map, but they're going to position themselves as Xbox's version of Naughty Dog, that studio that puts out high quality, emotional type games that really make
cinematic
experiences,
top
all
notch
of that
technology. I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. Dave, the ambition for this game is really big. I made actually a couple of videos already about Hellblade. They hired, for instance, the combat choreographer from Star Wars, to train Senua, Melina Jürgens, the actress who plays Senua. They sent every animator on combat martial art training, that they get the feeling of how this actually works when you do all these moves and so on. They built their own material scanners because nothing out there on the market served their needs and fulfilled the high quality standard that they set themselves for this game. So they built their own material scanners to scan in all textures and stuff. This game is going to be on a different level. It is probably one of the games that will set a new benchmark for a lot of technologies when it comes to motion capture, when it comes to audio design, when it comes to texture mapping and stuff like that. And I really can't wait to see, not just from a technology point of view, but also from a story point of view, what they do when they move out of just the head of Senua and go into the world of Iceland. They said that they scanned more than 40 different biomes on site with drones. They partnered up with Quixel to scan all these biomes to make the scope of this game really, really big. So all that combined with that great storytelling and that where they dive into the mind of people and set that up in this in the setting of the ancient mythology, northern mythology. I love that. This is really going to blow people's mind. What do you think when it will come out? What is your guess? Is it 23,
we've discussed
24?
This. Yeah,
we know.
On Booms.
So,
I've been on this train forever, so I haven't wavered at all. Earliest is holiday 2023, but my real gut is 2024, and I think it's early 2024. I think it's spring 2020, first quarter 2024 is when I think that, because I really do believe they're going to let this one bake in the oven for as long as necessary. If it's ready, it's ready, and it'll be out, holiday 2023. But I just think they bake it and they let it sit as long as it needs, get it polished at highest sheen possible, brightest shine possible, because like you said, Boxenberger, this is the game that is going to set the bar. This is the one right here where we go, wow, this is current gen. Now, Starfield could do that in different ways as well, but I think from the standpoint that we're looking at it, that this Hellblade 2 is going to be that one that does that. So I think first quarter 2024 is a safe bet. So that's where I'm at.
Agreed.
Yep.
It could be a safe bet. I think I still think it might be a 23 title, just because it is so long in the oven. They have been working on that game really long, and I know COVID did take out a big part of that and slowed down development. Still, the way how they presented it was the game that they revealed the new console with in 2020, 2029. Pardon me.
2029?
19. Man, too much confusion. Looking
that'll be Hellblade 5.
2019. Yeah, end of 2019, obviously. Still, that's when they revealed that game along with the console. Then, they have shown multiple dev diaries. They have had it on every major showcase, more or less, either with a dev diary or even with a trailer now. End of last year. So they have been very transparent with the development, and I think it is a 23 game. Okay. Let me be honest. But we shall see what we shall see.
Xbox has so much that they can move things around to.
Yeah.
So just depending on what else is ready, they don't have to force anything out the door. So.
Yeah. So we stay at Xbox, but we are going back to Activision. There was a big interview with one of the Microsoft presidents called Brad Smith. I've never heard of this dude before.
We're going to see more and more than we ever have before with this deal.
Indeed. And he was actually talking about the culture change at Activision. You remember, Activision has actually multiple lawsuits going on right now against multiple studios, and dozens of executives are blamed for sexual harassment, misconduct on the workspace, mobbing, and other awful things. So multiple lawsuits are going on. And this is definitely going to be one of the big challenges for Microsoft. They get 10,000 new employees with this deal. 10,000 new employees. And the entire structure is now going through multiple lawsuits. And if you want to change that size of a company, that culture, you really have to root out the weed. And Brad Smith talked on this in an interview. And again, I want to quote him because that's the best way to get this. We are looking to the leadership team at Activision Blizzard today to make culture and workplace safety a top priority every single day until the day when this deal hopefully closes. And then we'll take over, and we need to make that same commitment. So basically what he's saying is Microsoft is watching what the leadership is doing right now over the next months until this deal closes. And those leaders that don't commit to make it a safe environment, they are gone. Their asses are going to be fired. So what do you make of this? What do you think? Is this?
Yeah, as they should, right? As they should. Xbox, Microsoft as a whole corporation has set a tone internally, right? Phil's come out and said, hey, we're not perfect. We continue to work on things too, right? We don't have a perfect history, any of that. But you can look at Microsoft Corp today, an Xbox division, and say they definitely have set a tone. Now, Phil and his team have really gone out of their way as far as the gaming industry goes to become leaders in that area as well. Phil constantly talks about diversity, constantly talks about employees, no matter what position they're at, feeling comfortable going to work and being able to do the job they do without any harassment, without any problems, loving where they go to work, right? They've set that mark, and they've created a culture that has proven itself, right, through the years. And so it's not like one dysfunctional company is taking over another dysfunctional company. You're going, how is this going to work? There's no way. This is like, it's not like Ubisoft, who have had their own major problems and continue to have their own major problems, is buying Activision Blizzard. And you're going, well, who's going to be the leader here? No, it's clear cut who's going to be the leader. Phil said it in his statement when they announced the acquisition initially, and his title was changed to CEO of Microsoft Gaming. He said, once this acquisition is complete, they will answer directly to me. Phil is that leader. His team around him that he's built are leaders in that area. So of course they're going to be looking at what's leading up to it. They're going to be doing wholesale changes. We know that it's 99.999 repeating % fact that Bobby Kotick is gone when this deal is done. He'll get his golden parachute, the head of the cancer,
and then you're out.
You're out, right? And so what they're watching for now is we know that there's Activision Blizzard themselves are currently cleaning house of a lot of people. I think in the past couple of weeks, there's been 40 some people fired or some neighborhood of that. And so they're cleaning house, but Microsoft and Xbox is going to be watching very closely so that when this merger or this acquisition does close, they're going to say, okay, we've been watching all this, but this person are still there. And those are problem people. According to us, we are now boss. You guys are gone. Get out of here. And they're going to finish that cleaning of the house because they need to rid themselves of all of those problem people and all the cancer so that they can rebuild Activision Blizzard from the inside out. Again, I call this the biggest house flipping opportunity ever. They're going to rebuild from the inside. They're going to have to tear down a lot and rebuild those teams back up to what they used to be again and make sure that the foundation is as strong as possible so they can move past what has happened. It will never be forgotten because Phil and his team are not those people that forget, even internally amongst themselves. They're going to learn from this, but they're going to make sure that the Activision Blizzard teams are built in such a way that it does not happen again. And so I think that's the important part about this. So it makes perfect sense that that's where they're at and that's their stance they're taking.
100%. I can't add anything to that. You absolutely nailed it. It is a big challenge, and to keep the morale up again in those studios is going to be tough. With such a takeover, also a lot of fear comes to people. Will I get fired? What does this mean for me? Stuff like that.
And they have to bring people back to boxing.
Yes,
they've lost a ton of talent. They have
lost
attract
them.
talent.
Yeah,
as well. Yes.
And if you have such a big organizational structure, you want to attract the talent, and you won't be able to attract the talent. Come on, if you're a game dev and you have the option to work basically wherever you want, will you go to Activision Blizzard right now? It's really, I know it's good for your resume to have Call of Duty on there, but still, you know what I mean, and that's really a big challenge in itself. And so it's great to hear that Microsoft is already addressing that and looking at it prior to the official acquisition, so that they can take actions, rigorous actions. Immediately,
right out the gates. They're going to have to.
Gate.
Talent is at such a premium in this industry. It is, other than time, it is probably the most sought after resource right now is the talent, because there's so many people creating so much stuff right now game wise that talent is not infinite, right? There is a limit to it. It is finite. So in order, like you just said, even though Activision Blizzard is a great brand to have on your resume, when you have options everywhere, when you can go to a Sony owned studio, or you can go to I don't know, even in one of the Xbox studios first party, why would you choose Activision Blizzard, right?
Exactly.
You got to make Activision Blizzard something that people want to go back to and say, yeah, I get to have that on my resume, but it's also a great place to work. So I'm choosing them over all these other places and opportunities I could go to.
Yeah. Absolutely. Man, I don't know. Do you have another couple of minutes? I told you it's going to be a 90-minute show, but we have so much to talk about, and the discussion is awesome.
Let's go.
Awesome. Because then I want to first remind everyone of the giveaway. We're doing a $60 gift card giveaway, either for Xbox or PlayStation. That's up to you, in order to celebrate the 5,000 subs that I achieved or reached today on this channel. Again, folks, so much, I can't thank you enough for the outstanding support. This is awesome. And I also want to say thanks to Crazy Louis, who came to me and said he wanted to sponsor this giveaway. All you have to do to enter is to type into the chat hashtag 5K subs, and you will be automatically entered into the giveaway, and we will draw the lucky winner at the end of the show. So again, hashtag 5K subs into the chat, and you automatically entered. All right, man. we've talked about this little unknown game, Hellblade. There's another game coming that I don't know whether you have heard of this. Have you heard of Starfield?
Out of all the games, yes, Boxenberger, of course. God Howard himself is delivering us another masterpiece, I believe. And I am hyped. And I don't care what anybody says. I'm going to be hyped for a game I haven't seen. I don't care.
Yeah, and he has never disappointed me. And some of the best gaming experience I've had to date came from Bethesda and Todd Howard himself. Skyrim is still one of my most, one of the best games I think ever made. I hold so much nostalgia for the Fallout series, for Morrowind, Oblivion. I can't wait to see what this Skyrim in space game is. Phil Spencer also had to say something on this, and I want to quote him. He had the interview. He had an interview, and he said, and I quote now, so when I look at the teams, when Todd Howard and I talk about Starfield, it's how do we make sure this is the most played Todd Howard game ever? For reference to you, Skyrim has sold more than 30 million units and is the most successful Bethesda game studio game to date. So that's their target. They want to make Starfield the most played Bethesda game ever. What do you think does this game need to do in order to achieve it?
Wow, that's a big conversation to have, especially if we're going underneath the assumption that Starfield does remain exclusive, as we all believe, right?
Well, they said that it's going to be Xbox ecosystem exclusive. So it will be on cloud, PC, and of course consoles.
So obviously, let's start here. Number one, let me add a little bit of flavor to this. TWOG, who obviously does talk to people at Xbox, he is well known in this community. Obviously been around for a long time. On RDX on Tuesday night, he said that he's talked to people who would be in the position to play Starfield, and they have said that we are all in for something special, and everything that we believed it's going to be that and more. That this is a giant game. Okay. Yeah. So I take, there's always certain people in this community that you can call real insiders, but TWOG is someone who speaks to a lot of people. But
yes,
that got my hype. It's at infinite already, my hype, but that even added a one to my infinite. Right. So I think that Starfield, when Phil talks about it reaching and becoming the biggest game of all time, I think Phil sees the future and what they're looking at. That they already have. They announced 25 million subscribers to Game Pass. Obviously that number is probably a little bit lower than what it actually is at. By the time Starfield hits, I could see it being at 30 million plus right there. Yeah. On top of releasing on PC, on top of, maybe Phil is looking at this as like, okay, so we have all this accessibility. We have the vehicle to drive Starfield to become the biggest played game of all time. We are going to do a gigantic Halo-esque type marketing campaign around Starfield so that it reaches the masses for people who may not be aware of what Starfield is. Once they do announce it and show it off, we could see a gigantic campaign. We could see the extra mile gone to the PC versions and to even the mobile versions. What about touch controls on the mobile versions so that people have, because not every game they're putting out a lot more games with touch controls, but making sure that Starfield for sure has every opportunity to be enjoyed by anybody who has any inkling to jump into that game, right? And to drop the barriers down to the lowest levels possible. And I think that's what Phil's really talking about here, because I think, again, it's no mistake. It's no coincidence that when they announced the ZeniMax deal, that every single exec from Xbox that came out and talked about that deal mentioned Starfield. Starfield is huge. Sony was trying to lock that down, as we heard, as an exclusive. So whatever was shown behind the scenes a couple years ago was impressive enough to get a lot of people's blood boiling and excitement going. And I think that comes to culmination on 11/11/22 this year Again, I've got my time
It's
off
gonna-
already scheduled.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to take at least 3 days off work for that game.
Yep, I am. It comes out on a Friday. I believe I'm taking through the following Tuesday off. I'm going to take Friday through Tuesday off. Get home early Thursday night. I don't know when the launch times are going to be, but I'm going to be available in case I can move to New Zealand real quick and play early. I'm going to be there. Okay. So
definitely 100%.
So I think that's what Phil's talking about here. They're just going to make sure that it is the best experience on PC. It's going to have every single bells and whistle possible to make the PC experience. If you're playing on a 3090, they're going to make sure that you look at that game and say, okay, I'm playing on a 3090 and getting a unique experience here versus somebody who they're going to want to be able to play on a lesser PC and have a great experience, but they're going to make sure that everybody feels that they're getting the best one possible for them. And I think that's what it's about.
Agree. Dave Ramos sends in a $2 super chat and asks, Starfield, is that like Star-Lord's sister?
No,
thank you, man.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Of course, he says, joking. Well, see, I think in order to achieve that target to be more successful than Skyrim, you have to have multiple things in place. Of course, they have with Game Pass the entry barrier as low as it can be. Yeah, everyone with Game Pass can play that game at no extra cost. That definitely will help the player base. Like you said, PC is also a good question, and here you have to really think what kind of PCs are out there. When the PC Master Race talks, they are always assuming everyone has a 3080, 3090, something like that in there. But the fact of the matter is that most PCs out there are not that powerful. Now, we know that the the new engine that they're using, the Creation Engine 2.0, is going to take a lot of advantage from especially the Xbox Velocity architecture. They literally said that you need DirectX 12, that they will use direct storage, which is also now available on PC. So I don't know whether every standard PC out there will be able to handle Starfield. That will be definitely interesting to see if and how this game scales on PC. So, but with that, obviously, you're going to limit this. The other point you brought up is touch controls for xCloud. I think what we will be getting is a proper company app or something like that. Remember Fallout Shelter that launched along with Fallout 4? Something like that keeps you on your phone in there. Microsoft has bought with Bethesda ZeniMax a couple of mobile developers as well. Nobody talks about that.
AlphaDog.
Yeah. Exactly, AlphaDog. So why not have AlphaDog make a proper app that goes along with Starfield, where that lets you at least manage your inventory, do a couple of things on the road, and then when you get back home, you're going to explore again that open world. The big thing about the success of Skyrim was that everyone played it initially, and it had this awesome, someone in chat said it, I can't remember who, mouth-to-mouth advertisement. It was really a viral thing.
Yep.
Yeah, word to mouth. And this is something that in this day and age is easier, because now we have all these social media channels. We have viral marketing. When gamers like us here, everyone in chat is going to post pictures and screenshots and video clips on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. This is definitely going to help them. But to have that effect, you have to have a quality product. And I think this is what Phil is mostly referring to. They gave Bethesda the time now to make something special. Todd Howard has talked. It helped them, of course, a lot to have lesser systems to develop for, that will let them focus more. And I think this is going to be the thing. This game is going to be top-notch quality, and I do hope it is this awesome experience that we all want it to be. And if it is like this with Game Pass out there and word to mouth and being available, of course, on PC as well, there is a chance that this game could be more successful than Skyrim. We shall see.
We shall see. And the other thing that just popped in my head too, Boxenberger, one big piece of what Bethesda specifically in their games is about is the modding community. I think Xbox is going to heavily continue what Bethesda started, and Bethesda's kind of on their own anyways, but I think Xbox is going to definitely embrace the modding community, both console and PC, for Starfield, because that gave Skyrim a lot of legs. Like, I just saw somebody put out an 8K Skyrim, right?
Yes.
With something like
ray tracing and everything. Yeah,
something crazy. That's what kept Skyrim in the people's minds. Not only that it was one of the best games of all time, but that it got to live on community. And have the modding community is huge. So
absolutely. And like you said, we have also Skyrim on console mods, but they are still a little bit limited. Xbox has spoken in the past about them wanting to increase the efforts on mods on consoles, and this would be the perfect game to do it. Absolutely. Definitely. 100%. Okay, man. One minor news bit before we go into the community questions. The Hobbit and Lord of the Ring gaming rights are up for sale now.
Yes.
Yeah. Worth at least $2 billion. Just for reference, we're just talking about the rights to make a game based on the Lord of the Ring or Hobbit IP. At least $2 billion. Again, Sony paid $3.5 billion last week. Not just for an IP, but an entire studio with the employees, the IP, the technology behind this. So what is your thought? Is this IP worth that money? And what will be the price that it's sold for?
It is a seller's market in all areas right now. And IP, I've been talking about this for a long time, Boxenberger. The entertainment industry as a whole, we're talking about movies, TVs, books, games, we're talking about all of it, is going to be consolidate as well, because IP that can transfer, that can be used in movies, that can be used in TV, that can be used in games, that can be used in books, that type of IP becomes even more valuable now, as we've seen Netflix come in and make TV series, Witcher, obviously based upon game and book. As everybody realizes what IP has that kind of power, because not every IP has that ability, right? We've got plenty of genres out there that don't transfer to gaming, right? That don't transfer necessarily to books, right? We have a lot of IP that is only kind of one or two-sided. You find an IP that can do all of those things, it does grow in value. So yes, I believe Lord of the Rings is worth at least $2 billion. I think that they probably set that price as a marker because they know there's going to be a bidding war. This is the first major IP of that type, right? Since Star Wars has shifted hands, right? And so I think that you're going to have multiple suitors here. You are going to have a lot of people who don't want this to fall into other people's hands as well, because it's going to, again, we've talked about it. Would you rather Xbox, Microsoft own something, or would you rather Amazon own something, right? When it comes to gaming, right? That's going to be a big question.
They already have the TV rights. They also popped into my head. We have the Lord of the Rings series coming out this summer. Right. Yeah.
I think that you're going to see this probably when the final price hits of whoever does pay the ransom. We're all going to scratch our heads and go, dang, really? Because again, Lord of the Rings has so much potential in so many different areas, not just now, not short term, long term. This is something that, look, Lord of the Rings is nearly 100 years old at this point, if not over 100 years old. It's over 100 years old. So this is something this is one of those IPs that have gone through the test of time and have survived and is still meaningful to millions upon millions of people at this point. Right. Absolutely. So I think that price can't be understated. And I think that, again, with the amount of people, I see Disney going after this hard. I see Disney trying to gobble this up really hard. I see Amazon obviously trying. But then you got Microsoft.
I'm not sure about
Sony.
Disney, because Disney is not making games anymore. They closed all their internal.
But they got Lucas. Right? And they're licensing.
Yeah, but it's not about the movie IPs. It's I double checked.
But they're licensing. It's about
just
all
gaming
of it.
license. It's not movie.
No, it's movies, TV, and gaming. It's the whole IP.
Okay, then I have to check again, because I checked 2 articles and they both definitely stated it's just gaming.
Here, hold on. Let me go real quick, because I posted it a bunch of different places. So let me go real quick and read the tweet that here we go. Okay. So the one that was put out through Variety said the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit film and gaming rights are now up for sale.
Both film and okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I was just looking at gaming websites, and
it's
always just saying gaming rights. Okay.
Focus. Yeah.
Thanks for the clarification. Okay.
It's the whole IP. So it is
the whole IP. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Very good. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you bring up a lot. Then of course Disney is definitely going hard on this. 100%. Yeah. Going to be interesting. Warner Brothers is probably also going to be looking hard at this IP. We will see. I do hope we will get a couple of more proper games in that IP. We have never gotten a proper Hobbit game. We have gotten back in the days a couple of great Lord of the Ring games when the movies were up to date. I remember playing on the GameCube, actually. A lot of great.
I just want Battle for Middle Earth to come back. The strategy, the RTS. I want that
the RTS
so bad.
That was awesome.
And look, I'll just throw this out there. If internally Microsoft is looking towards the future, and they are thinking about jumping into the entertainment industry again as a whole, which I do believe at some point they will, that they want to control content and they're going to offer content outside of just gaming. This would be a big, big move if they decided to jump on this. And this would be one of those deals they could do without upsetting the whole regulations. If they just want to buy an IP like Lord of the Rings, it'd definitely be something they could move on. So I think there probably are some talks happening. So
probably.
Yeah.
100%. Okay, man. Awesome talks about news. We could go on because there were a couple of other awesome things happening, but I don't want to keep you too long, and I want to get to the community questions. Before we do that, I want to give a reminder again on the giveaway that we are doing to celebrate the 5,000 subs on the Boxenberger YouTube channel. We are doing a $60 gift card for either Xbox or PlayStation. This is sponsored by the Crazy Louie here, who's also in chat. I said we split the bill because I also want to say a big thank you. We hit the 5,000K mark today, and it's just awesome. To enter this giveaway, all you have to do is to type into the chat hashtag 5K subs, no capital letters. I've seen someone previously type it in with a big K, a capital K. That's not what you need to do. No capital letters, hashtag 5K subs. And once you're entered that into the chat, you will be automatically entered into the giveaway. But before we draw the lucky winner, I want to move over to a part of the show that I like to call community questions. All right. Each and every week, everyone has the chance to send in questions that we will try to answer on Twitter, on YouTube. You can put out these questions. I always put up a post, usually on Wednesday, where you, the community, can write in different questions. This way you can also be part of the show, even though you're not part of the live chat, if you listen after the fact. And we had so many awesome questions coming in this week. I won't be able to get to all of them, but I want to read a couple of them. We talked about Hellblade earlier. Kayasante writes in a great question. when do you think we'll start to see some real next-gen games? Meaning games that require all the new smart features of the Xbox Series X and S, like VRS, direct machine learning, sampler feedback streaming, and so on. I know some games have used a feature or two, but in your opinion, when will they all be required to run on the Series X and S?
It's a big question. That's for the tech heads, man. I'm not a tech guy. I'm not a tech guy.
Let me go first.
You go, Batu.
We are going to see these games this year. We have no Xbox release coming from a first-party portfolio and all the third-party deals that they made exclusively for the Xbox ecosystem that are cross-gen anymore. Xbox has officially left cross-gen behind. We can say that. Every game like Redfall, Starfield, even Stalker 2 is going to be next-gen only. So why do they do that? Even though we haven't seen a Redfall with gameplay or we have seen Starfield with gameplay, we can assume that they use something that is not possible on the old consoles. Otherwise, it would be a cross-gen release. So we are going to see those next-gen showcases probably really, really soon. Let me again change the gameplay again. So hang on 1 second. There we go. All right. So way more.
You should let the sound go so that everybody can get those screams from the zombies in their ear. And
especially during the chases
and during the night, just the night when that switch happens when the sun goes down and it switches, and all of a sudden you hear the screams and the growls and all.
Yeah, and you see the zombies crawling out of the buildings.
Yes.
And
have you ever been in one of the buildings when it happens? And
yes,
you can actually watch them. Get up and start moving out. It's crazy. It's really cool.
You better hide when they do that because that's when it's easy for them to spot you.
Yes.
And it's such a great game. A great game. All right, let's move to the next question. Pschilke, German guy, German community member, writes in and asks, "What I ask me daily: where would Xbox be today without Phil Spencer's vision and influence? His impact on Microsoft's way of handling the gaming section seems priceless for me. Would there have been any alternative?" Pong.
We've talked about this a lot too. Obviously, again, we'll never know exactly what the mindset was, but we've got enough stories now that we kind of get a good picture of what was happening internally. Look, without Phil convincing, and again, Phil doesn't like to take the credit for this stuff, but it really was Phil, because he was the only one that had access to a lot of the doors, like to Satya's office, to be able to talk and push Game Pass as a way forward for Xbox, right? So it really does. Phil carried this change himself in a lot of ways. Yes, there was other people behind the scenes that worked with him, but Phil really did do this a lot on his own. Through just sheer will of wanting to see Xbox continue and really seeing a future, because he's a gamer at heart. And I've talked about that so many times that's one of his leadership qualities are obviously second to none, but being a gamer at heart and never losing that through all of his years at Xbox, I still think is one of his greatest assets. And I think that really helped him here. But where would they be without Phil? Look, they'd either be a third-party publisher with a few studios here and there, kind of just making games as they always have. Again, people forget how far back Microsoft gaming went. All the way back, PC wise, Flight Sim, right, all the way back.
Age of Empires.
Age of Empires, correct?
Yeah.
Microsoft Golf. I mean, for God's sake, back in the day, right? So
true.
So yeah, again, I think it would still be a division, but they would just be a third-party publisher. Or worst case scenario, a lot of the investors were saying, we got to sell the whole thing. We got to just sell it off, get out of gaming completely, be done with it, focus on other things like cloud, like all that kind of stuff. And I think that was certainly a reality too. But those two options, I think, are your best. What would have happened had there not been a Phil to push the narrative forward, to push the idea and the philosophy forward.
Agreed.
That's where I'm at with
it. I mean, there have been visionaries in Team Xbox before. When
how Xbox started, right?
Exactly. That's how they started. Yeah. And You have, if you watch that documentary that they put out last December, it really becomes clear that over the course of the 360 generation, after Moore left the company, Microsoft internally shifted the Xbox division over to the suits. Yeah, that's when the nerds, the gamers, the tech enthusiasts didn't run the division anymore. And you could tell that from the start, and how they handled the start of the Xbox One generation, and how they tried to put their vision out there, and their target out there. It really wasn't that thing. And Phil is definitely a visionary. He thinks not just about Xbox as a whole, he thinks as the gaming industry as a whole. And I don't think that a lot of executives are out there right now that have that kind of view to really not just grow your own business, but the entire industry. And
preserve the history too, right, Boxenberger? Preserve the history of gaming.
Yeah. Absolutely, that was one of the first projects he greenlit as head of Xbox. Was the backwards compatibility program. They announced that only 1 year after Phil took over. Yeah, that was really one of the first projects he greenlit, because it is a passion project for him. That game preservation is an important part. He has spoken about this multiple times. That he sees gaming as an art form. That is for one of the highest executives at a $1 trillion company to come out and talk about gaming like that was really new. I haven't seen anyone from the other high executives.
Yeah, and he even talked about somehow getting the entire industry together at some point and creating some kind of space, like in the cloud, because he talks about where the future of the cloud is, or whatever else, and they want to develop in the cloud, but finding some way to, because games have been lost through history, right?
Yeah.
There's floppy disks that got destroyed that had entire games that we'll never get back again, right? So he wants the entire, exactly, buried in the ground. But no, he wants the entire industry somehow, and he says it's a big ask, but the entire industry to come together and say, hey, at some point, all of our content goes somewhere to be preserved, where people and generations in the future can go back and play those games without having to own a console, without having to own old hardware. Just come to some type of agreement. He said it's a big thing. It's a big idea. And he goes, I don't even know if it's possible, but I've seen that interview where he talks about that. That goes to show where his mind is, like you said, Bob.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Let me read another question. Stuffed Shaw writes in, and surprisingly, it has nothing to do with plasma grenades. He says, hey, Boxy, with E3 effectively cancelled, how do you think the conference season is going to take shape? We all expect an Xbox show, but with no overall organization running it, do you think individual shows from each platform holder, publishers, etc., will have the same impact on gamers and media coverage?
Yeah, look, oh man, I have a we saw this happen when pandemic first hit in 2020. Okay, we saw this happen, and it was all over the place. People were just randomly announcing, oh, by the way, 2 weeks we're gonna have a show, and it was like, what? For me, and I know, fun speculation, if he's still in the channel, Mav has a different opinion. E3, yes, at its core is just a name right now. It's just a banner, okay? But it is a banner that brought together a lot of the video game industry still to this day underneath one kind of spot where everybody, as far as gamers and media goes, could look and cover it and see what the future of gaming was holding. Now, yes, I understand the coverage wasn't great. I understand that it was lacking, that a lot of the companies that showed up didn't have anything to show. I understand that last year, that it wasn't by any stretch of the imagination perfect. It wasn't the old E3 of old in any way, shape, or form. But I still like the idea, and I don't know if they can do this, and I know there's some places trying to do it. G4 is trying to do their own thing. Obviously, Keeley is expanding his coverage, and he's going to try to pick up some of the slack. But I still like the idea of a week or two where the majority of the big companies, especially, and a lot of the smaller companies, come together, show their stuff, and everybody can kind of focus on that week or two of coverage. I don't like the idea of show here, show there, show, October, show November, show July, show. I don't like that idea. Can it still be impactful? Yes, Microsoft has enough content and enough studios now to do an entire E3 week on their own. Okay, they really do. They at this point, so they're fine. But I just like the idea where all the gamers, all the media can look at one time and see it. That's all.
The thing for me with E3 is, or it always was, it is this 1 week where every publisher comes in the same place, and the general media sites that regularly normally report on normal news, whatever, politics and so on, they also report on gaming. It is this 1 week where the gaming industry is focused on, and from all kinds of media sites.
It's like Christmas for gamers, right?
Christmas for gamers, and it brings in an attention and focus that you otherwise don't get. And I think the industry itself needs this kind of focus once a year. Yeah, that you see, turn on your regular news, I don't know, BBC or whatever, and see a news bit about gaming. This is important for the gaming industry as a whole. And with that gone, that excitement around gaming is also a little bit gone, because I was excited 2 weeks prior to E3, speculating what could be announced at this conference, this conference. Now, of course, we will have these conferences. We will have an Xbox conference. I'm gonna be looking forward to it, but it's just going to be this one conference, and then we have 2 months later the PlayStation event, and in another month we have a Ubisoft showcase, and it's just not the same. So it's gonna be interesting. See, my thing is, I'm not sure, with E3 basically gone now, if Jeff Keighley isn't going to pick that umbrella up, because he has been doing his summer show showcase, and he has the name and he has the reach to be able to be the new umbrella under which they might assemble in June. And it's no secret what I personally think about him. But it's be that as it may, he has the reach, he has the connections, and so I could see him pick up that umbrella and bring together a couple of showcases under the Jeff Keighley banner. We will see. Let's do another one that goes really quick. Comes in from Nanopolymer. How long will it take me to clear my Xbox Game Pass backlog once Microsoft Gaming acquires Activision Blizzard?
Never.
Listen,
never. You're never going to be done.
Even if you play 24/7, you won't be able to play everything. So that's an easy question, and that's why the last one I want to discuss here is a personal question who comes in from Richard Freudel. He's also a German guy. He actually, I had with him the first and only German interview or show I did, a podcast I did. I was invited to his thing a couple of months ago, and it was the only German content, gaming content I ever did. But he wrote it in English. He writes in, maybe a more personal question. How has gaming changed when you became a father? I mean, how do you perceive games? How do you feel about any violent parts of games? And what kind of games would you recommend to show a child first? Pong, you being a dad as well.
That's
tough. It's tough. It's a tough question.
It really is, because everybody's going to parent differently. There is no one handbook on parenting, as much as we'd all love it at times, that we could flip to a page and say, what do I do now? Oh, okay, here's the that we don't have strategy guides for parenting. Okay, that's not what happens. So parenting is very personal, and it's also going to come down to your personal, what you personally feel as well. I can look at a movie and say that movie's not too violent for my kids, but somebody else can look at it and say, oh, heck no, I ain't ever showing my kids that, right? That happens all the time. And we have these discussions within society of what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. Personally, for me, I'll just take my oldest son, he's 21 now. So when he was growing up, it was during the 360 era. Okay. Yeah. And he watched me play games. Now, for me personally, I taught him from a very early age what's real and what's not real. And I made sure that he understood what he was seeing on a screen was a no direct relation to real life, right? And I did that through a variety of ways. I had talks with him while he was watching things with me, gaming and that kind of stuff. Now, did I expose him to Grand Theft Auto? Absolutely not. Okay, I did draw lines. However, I did have him playing Call of Duty by the time he was probably about 6 years old, 7 years old, not online, not with headphones, right? I didn't have him listening to the garbage that was going on, but I let him play the game and let him run around and learn how to play Call of Duty at that age. Battlefield as well. I had him watching like Lord of the Rings, which some people, like my sister has wouldn't let my nieces watch Lord of the Rings until they were much older. I let him watch that when he was like 3 years old, right? So and there's people would feel that's too scary.
Yeah.
So again, it does come down to personal taste. Like I said, I drew my lines, as he got older, when he got to around 9-10 years old, his friends were playing Grand Theft Auto at points. And I told him, no, you're not touching Grand Theft Auto. You're just not. There's too much. Yeah. No, there's too much other stuff. Like if it was just running around and, shooting people in the street or whatever, okay, fine. Maybe I might've let him, but being able to go to the strip club and all that. I was like, no, we're not getting into that. The drug use, none of that stuff. Right. So I kept him away from certain things, but it really does come down to your personal feelings. There's no right or wrong answer here at all. There really isn't. I don't, I can have my own personal feelings about what kids should probably learn about or not learn about, but at the end of the day, you got to make that judgment, and you really got to do that for yourself.
Absolutely, and there is no golden rule to do that.
No.
And every kid is also different. That comes also into place. For me, my sons are 4 and 5 years old now. I'm actually at that point where I'm trying to introduce them to gaming right now. And of course, my immediate thought was, you go to the Nintendo games. Yeah, the first game my sons played was Mario Odyssey. I learned really quick that it's not about because it's too brutal or anything. Obviously not. It's too complex for them, actually. In that age, with 4 years, they were really not able to move Mario in the right direction, jump at the same time. So we started with something simpler, actually. We played like the Paw Patrol games where you don't have to move the camera and only move around the dogs. Then we played a lot of Mario Kart, but it is also kind of difficult for them they can drive and steer, but shooting and whatnot is kind of difficult to do at the same time in that age. So we are actually playing a lot of Forza with them right now. Also, it's a racing game to go to. So if you see my drive avatar do crazy things, it's probably because of that. I'm kidding. But you know what I mean. It is. It is something that cannot be answered in general, and like I said, every kid is different. For instance, my youngest, the 4-year-old one, he takes everything way too serious that happens in the game. I think when we played Mario for the first time, and I took him to bed that evening, he was talking to me for 30 minutes about, Daddy, are you going to save the princess now when I'm sleeping?
Of course.
It's like I said, every child is different. What changed for me personally as a gamer when I became a dad, maybe, and we close with that, is I obviously you have less time to game because family takes up a lot of time as well in your life. And for me, basically, it was the point when I stopped playing competitive multiplayer games.
Sure.
They are just so time consuming. And if you want to become good, you have to spend hundreds of hours in a battlefield or whatnot. And that's basically where I draw the line. And I got out of the competitive multiplayer space when I became father.
Yeah, and I'll end it too with that question as well. That part of it, what changed for me was, it was more sharing of my time with my kiddo, right? It became more of co-op games. It became more of passing the controller back. The greatest memories ever that I will take to my grave, right? Those are some of my brightest moments. And on top of that, you also become a teacher, right? You also become the person who is teaching another human being how it is to game, right? How it is to be a gamer. And I would say this, that if you find your children catching on to games very quickly, don't shy away necessarily from complex games like RTSs, like strategy games, because that does translate to things that they will have to learn later in life and use later in life. My kid, Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle Earth, I bought it up earlier. He was playing Battle for Middle Earth before he was playing Call of Duty. He was playing at age 4 or 5. Now, was he doing like everything? No, but I was teaching him. And then by the time he was about 7 or 8, I was walking in the door from work and he'd be like, Dad, I just took over. I just beat Battle for Middle Earth. That's a complex strategy RTS game. And he, by that point, he had learned, because kids are so dang good nowadays. And even more so now, my kid's 21. Kids now know how to operate phones and tablets like basically when they're born. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yes, it's ridiculous.
So don't shy away from again, it's gotta be something that you approve of. And I'm not talking about going that, but don't be afraid to introduce them to harder games if you see them catching on, because it will help their brain. Games are good for people as much as we all heard when we were younger. They're terrible. They're not.
Yes,
they are very good for mental capacity and stuff. So definitely
and eye coordination,
yes, exactly.
Geometrical thinking and stuff like that. Absolutely.
Yep.
Pong, it's been awesome with you. It's been an awesome show, man. Thank you so much for taking the time. We have to do the giveaway. What we have to do? We can do the giveaway. It's a joy to do that. One last chance for everyone to enter that. We are giving away a $60 or euro gift card for either Xbox or PlayStation, here to celebrate the 5,000 subs on my channel here today. I said it before, but I say it again. Big thank you to Crazy Louis, who approached me, wanted to pay for this giveaway. We split the bill. Thank you, Louis. You're such an awesome guy, such a big, awesome community member. Guys, if you want to enter the giveaway, type into the chat hashtag 5K subs. No capital letters, and this way you will automatically be entered. And while you do that, I will share my screen. Hang on real quick. Where is the no, I have to, okay, one second. Here we go. That's the giveaway tool. There you can see again how it's typed. Type in hashtag 5K subs to enter this giveaway. Let me really quickly change the overlay that we can see it all better. Since we have always a little delay in between the tool we are using to make the podcast and until it hits YouTube, we are waiting for 5 more seconds, and then we are going to draw that. If you want to enter, type in hashtag 5K subs. And Crazy Louis is also in chat. Jay, you handsome guy, he says. And with that, we are going to start to collect the comments, and then we are going to draw the lucky winner. Jason Hackett is the lucky winner.
Jason Hackett, brother. Yeah, awesome job, man. Good.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Congratulations to you, man. Listen, if I don't know whether I have you on Twitter. Are you still in the chat? I do hope you are still in the chat. Because I have no idea how to contact you. So let us see. Big congratulations. Jason Hackett, is he still in the chat? It doesn't look like it.
I've got him on. I got him on Twitter.
You got him on Twitter. Okay,
yep, I do.
So we can make the connection.
Yeah, I'll send that DM over to you. I'll send his name over.
Perfect.
Over to you. Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay. Big congratulations again to him. We will. Pardon me, I'm messing up the thing. Here, the overlay. Okay, we will get in touch with you. That is awesome. congratulations again. Again, thanks to everyone who joined here today. Pong, it's been an absolute pleasure. Let people know where they can find you and what you've been coming up.
Brother, it's been an honor. And again, it's an honor. It's a great pleasure to be here with you as well. Look, I don't take these things for granted. These invites are all special to me when I get invited on a show, especially somebody like you, who has been a major part of this community, who's doing big things in this community, and who obviously has his choice of people to invite on. So thank you, brother. This was an awesome conversation. Love podcasting with you. Just love hearing your thoughts and just having that open discussion. Yes, it's fantastic.
That's why I had to have you on really early in the show. Yeah, it's only the 4th episode. You were one of my top people to ask. So,
and I can't thank you enough for that. Chat, you are all amazing. We had over 80 here. This was just absolutely incredible experience to be here. Love seeing all the familiar faces, all the new faces. Look, if you like what you hear here, if you like what you hear here, please go ahead, follow me, Pong Soul on Xbox, Pong Soul on Twitter. You will find me there. This is my long outro, so bear with me. You can find me tonight on PM in the PM, Pong and Mav in the PM over on Fun Speculations channel. Another awesome, my brother from another over there.
Boom is going to join there today.
Boom, Mr. Boomstick will be on the show tonight. We are going to have part 2 of this Activision Blizzard talk, the exclusivity talk. Plus, we'll probably hop into some other stuff like the Nintendo Direct, maybe. Look, we have a great time. Normally, it's just me and Mav, but we had Colt Eastwood a couple weeks ago. Now we got Boom this week, so we're bringing people here and there in. So please join us 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time, just about 2 hours and 45 minutes from now. I will be on over there. And then tomorrow night, Friday night, is Xbox Ultimate, also on Fun Speculation channel. We have the Great 8 panel. That's right. We've got 8 panel members plus guests. However, real life, not all the panel members show up at all the times, but we have a big panel. It gets crazy in there. Join us Friday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. That's Xbox Ultimate. Saturday mornings, that's Living Split Screen, all one word, with my brother from another, Steel Rain. It's a 2-man show. We go 3+ hours. This week is going to be big. Last week was 4.5 hours. So buckle up. We just sit there and chat. We talk with the chat. Anybody that has comments that we want to talk about, we do that as well. Very flexible show, off the cuff. We talk about everything in the industry. So come see us, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time, 3 p.m. UK time, I believe that is. Please come check out Living Split Screen. We're on mission 1K. Steel thinks we can get to 2,000 this year. We're just about to hit 500. So join us. Saturday morning, we'll wake you up and get you ready for your weekend. Saturday nights is the Shop Podcast, PTK Blam's channel. 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 o'clock Central Time. He's been doing it for over 5 years. Just a great show. Great way to end your Saturday night. The Shop Podcast, PTK Blam's channel. And then Tuesdays is Xbox Factor Podcast over on Double Barrel Gaming, Mr. Boomstick's channel, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time. Of course, my brother here, Archimedes, is there. Boxing Burger is there. We got Mav when he's available. We got Mr. Joanna Dark, myself, and we're still holding 3Bits chair, but it's full of dust and cobwebs because he's busy. He's busy creating games.
He's busy.
So,
he's busy.
Yeah, he's very busy.
But he's got a good excuse because he does what we like to talk and play.
Exactly, exactly. He is actually in the industry, so it's good on him. Plus, he does a million other things. So, but come join us, Xbox Factor Podcast, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time. Otherwise, as I always say, it is the golden age of gaming right now. There has been no better time in history to be enjoying this hobby. So please don't let anybody steal your hype, your excitement, none of it. And if you want to have a discussion, we can have a respectful discussion. Just come with your points. But again, we don't have to agree, but we can agree that right now is a fantastic time to be here.
Absolutely.
Enjoying all this content. So do that and then play what you love what you play. And I'm going to talk to you all real soon. Thank you all for coming out. Nothing but love and support for each and every one of you gamers.
Man, you do the most epic outros. It's always hard to go after you. But
sorry, Boxberg.
that's awesome, man. No, really. Thank you again for being here. I want to say also a big thank you for everyone who was in chat here today. Big congratulations to Jason Hackett again for winning the $60 gift.
Congratulations to you on 5K, Boxenberger. Again,
thank you, man.
Big
thank
moment,
you.
Big moment, man.
That is a big moment, yeah. It's been I've been doing the YouTube thing for 2 years now, and to have such a subscriber count now is still blows my mind. I can't thank everyone enough for the support. Appreciate that, guys. By the way, I just wanted to let you know, usually I put out a video each and every Monday. That's simply because over the weekend I have time to edit those videos. I'm not sure if I will be able to make the next one on Monday, ready for Monday, because this is going to be a big one and it takes a lot of research, a little bit more than I thought it would, but it's going to be a super interesting one. Definitely stay tuned for that. Otherwise, guys, I will be seeing you next week. Thanks again for the support here. Thanks again for the super chats, for the awesome discussions in chat. I see you guys around either on Twitter, YouTube, Xbox, or PlayStation. You know where to find me. Thank you again for this outstanding support. And don't forget to game on.